What's up guys, and welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to show you the teams that I would build if I was going to wildcard or use my free hit this week for gameweek 24. As you probably know, there have been a lot of injury news this week, so a lot of people are freaking out, are panicking because they brought in players that they were going to use this game week, and they're injured now. At least they are injury flagged. So yeah, I'm going to show you the teams that I would build if I was going to use my free hit or wildcard. And to begin with, I'm going to show you some of the players that are flagged injured. So as you can see, we have Justin, the most owned defender in the game. Even though we have a difficult game week, of course, if these players are going to be... Because these are players that are either highly owned or the players that people brought in for this specific game week because they have double games. And I mean, if these players are going to be injured for a long time, of course, people are going to have a struggle to have a full team playing. So I understand that people are looking to use their wildcards. So Justin, the most highly owned defender, is injured. We have Diaz, probably going to affect Man City backline a little bit. I still think the defense is going to be good, but it's going to affect them. Pope, the goalkeeper that pretty much everyone is looking to get in for this double game week because Burnley's fixtures are amazing. Yeah, we'll see how Burnley's defense is going to be now without Pope, if he's not going to play. Most of these players are flagged about 75% chance of playing. Obviously, that's not an indication if they're going to play or not. But the only player here that is like pretty much confirmed that he's going to be out for a long time is Wilson. And he's... I mean, he has a really tough game this week anyway, but I know a lot of people have him in their team. So, of course, if you have a lot of players that are injured in your team, of course you want to look to switch it up. And just a thought about, just to mention about Everton. The three players that I was looking to get in, I already had DCL, but I was looking to get either Digne or James Rodriguez for this game week because I wanted to double up on Everton. All those players are now injured. So Everton, I'm not sure if that's a team to look for right now for double game week. It looks like you should maybe try to look elsewhere and not to Everton this game week. But let's get into the first team. So the first team is going to be the free hit team. So this is the team you will only have for game week 24 pretty much. Obviously the teams for free hit and wildcards can be a little bit different, but they're going to have some similar. So for the free hit team, you want to focus on the double game free hit teams. But since Everton now is not really a good option in my opinion, I'm gonna obviously focus on a little bit on Manchester United as well because they have an amazing fixture, probably the best fixture of all of them. But in goal, with Pope out, I'm gonna go for Areola. His fixtures are not bad, Everton and Burnley. And Fulham are not too bad defensively. Like we saw it against West Ham, they can keep clean sheets. Even though, obviously, I would have gone for Pope 100% if he was confirmed that he's going to play. I think Areola as the second best option is actually really good. You could, of course, go for Edison, but I would rather use the City spots in other areas of the field instead of the goalkeeper. But out of the other goalkeepers, I think Areola is probably the best option. And the defense, I would definitely double up on the Burnley defense. Even though Pope now is gone, I think that Burnley has still a good chance of keeping a clean sheet. They have two really good games pretty much. So I would go for me and Tarkowski. I would probably go for Cancelo. Even if it's a free hit, you could argue not to get him. In the wildcard, I'm definitely going to have him. But in the free hit, because they are playing Tottenham and Everton, two pretty difficult games, especially if Diaz is out now. We'll see how the defense is going to shape up. They're probably still going to keep a clean sheet in these one of the games because they are really good defensively. But the thing about Cancelo is he's so attacking. Like he could definitely get attacking returns. So I really like him. I think you should definitely have him in your team. Cresswell, single game week, but West Ham are playing Sheffield United, a game that they're probably going to keep a clean sheet. At least it's a really good game on paper. And I prefer Cresswell over Kufal, of course. He is more expensive, so that is the kind of like the crux. Like, do you want to pay more, but also want to have the higher chance of an attacking return? Because Cresswell he takes some set pieces and stuff. So I prefer Cresswell, but he's more expensive. You could also go for Kufal. For the midfield, I would probably go for a 5-man midfield for this game week if I was going to free hit. I would definitely have Fernandes. The easiest game on paper this week against West Bromwich. I would double up on the City with Gundogan and Sterling. People could argue you could go for Foden now because he was amazing against Liverpool. You could go for Bernardo Silva or someone else in City, maybe even Jesus in the attack. But I think the most nailed on player right now is going to be Gündogan. I think he's definitely going to play, and he's very cheap as well, so I would definitely have him. Then I think Sterling. I think all players except for Gündogan and probably Ederson right now are rotation risks in City. But I think Sterling will definitely play both games. Foden, even though we played amazing against Liverpool, he's probably going to play against Tottenham, but I don't think he's going to get 90 minutes. At least not in both games. He's not going to get 90 minutes in both games. So I do prefer Sterling, just for, it feels a little bit like a safer option. He's going to get more minutes. But obviously you never know with Pep and his roulette, of course. But I would probably, in the midfield as well, go for Lookman. Because now I don't think that Everton is a team I would target right now with all the injuries. I think that Lookman definitely is a good, cheap option with two pretty good fixtures in the double game week. And he just looks, in the Fulham team, he looks like the guy who would probably score, you know. So even though I don't really prefer Fulham at all as an attacking team, I think that he is the one who could probably do something. And for a free hit team, I would actually have him in my team. And Grealish, just amazing player. The players against Brighton are good, which are pretty good defensively, but I think that Aston Villa could definitely get something against them. And Grealish is always involved in everything. He doesn't always get the assists, but he is involved in all the attacks, and he's bound to get more FPL points than he actually gets because he's just the main man in Aston Villa pretty much. So for the striker option, I would actually go for Cavani because he is playing West Bromwich, and I think that he could definitely get some attacking returns there. And with all the injuries, like DCL is out, Antonio is out, Bamford is playing Arsenal. I think that Cavani is actually a really, really good option. I'm going to show you the bench as well. I do have Barnes on the bench. You could start him because he has a double game week. But I think that Cavani could get more points against West Bromwich than Barnes could get in his double game week. So that's why I would start Cavani. Because I think that United against West Bromwich is just such a good game. I have Bamford on the bench as well. Totally depends who you think is going to get the most points. But yeah, I think for the bench, it's pretty difficult to... If you want, you could just load up on some of the double game week players and just have on the bench. I'll go for a little bit more safer option. I think that Bamford is he's definitely able to get a return against Arsenal. And Barnes just because he has a double game week. But this is a team I would probably go for free hit. I would probably go for Gündogan or Sterling as a captain and vice captain. Or I will definitely go for one of them as a captain. Right now it's on Gündogan, but I can see, because I think he's a little bit more nailed on with minutes, but I can definitely see Sterling being a better differential captain, so he's definitely a good option as well. And let's get into the wildcard quickly. So the wildcard is going to change a little bit, because this is a team you want to keep for a long term. You don't want to have to switch it out, because this is your last wildcard if you're going to use it. So you have to think a little bit long term. So I'm going to put some players that have double game weeks now, but also players that I think are good long term. So I think Martinez is definitely a good goalkeeper long term. They are playing against Brighton now as well, so you could definitely shift this game as well. He's my main goalkeeper choice. No competition at all. For the defense, it's looking really similar to the one I just had in the free team, with the exception that I would have Stones instead of Tarkowski. The reason is that I think even though Diaz is out, especially when Diaz is out, I think Stones is gonna definitely play. And I think that City's defense is still gonna be good long term. And I would probably go for a double City defense. So I definitely think that Stones is a great option to have if you're gonna wildcard. For the midfield, very similar as well. Obviously I wouldn't have Lookman if I'm gonna wildcard. I would probably go for Salah. Because Salah, even though he hasn't been in great form, he is the type of player that could score pretty much any week if he gets like, and it really hurts you if he does score because a lot of people still have him in the team. So I would definitely have Salah. Fernandes, Gündogan, Grealish, you can all argue that they are great options to have long term. Then for the strikers, I would definitely have Bamford long term. He's also a player that is involved in almost all the attacks that Leeds have, and Leeds is a very attacking team. But I will also go for Kane. He has a difficult fixture this game week against Manchester City, so you could argue about benching him maybe. But I wouldn't bench him if you get him in your team because he's such a good player. But long term, he's definitely a player that you should have in your team. I'm looking to get him in my team in game week 26 for the double game week 26. And I think they're going to play in the blank game week 29 as well. 29 is a game week where a lot of teams are having FA Cup fixtures and stuff, so they're not going to play. But I think Tottenham is going to play now when they lost against Everton. So I think Tottenham players are great options to go for. And the bench is looking very similar as well. So with this team, just to let you know that I'm kind of like planning a little bit for game week 25, which is also double game week. So you see, I have triple leads, Dallas, Rafinha, and Bamford, because they have a double game week, a really good double game week in 25. So I would want to have them. And I have Adams, because he has a double game week in 25 as well. Adams is definitely not a player I want to have long term. I would look to switch him out to probably Antonio when he's back fit, or even DCL if you have enough cash to do that. But Adams is just temporarily for game week 25 pretty much, for the double game week, and then I will try to get rid of him in the future. But this is a team that it's very similar to the team I actually already have, and I think it's a pretty good team long term, definitely. Yeah, let me know if you have any questions, any thoughts, and if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you like this channel. And captain, probably Ginnigan this week. I am contemplating using my captain of Fernandes, but you should probably use it on a double game week player. And I think Ginnigan is a great option. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. Have a good day.